Hey everybody, welcome to Fantasy R&R. This is your host Ryan, and today is another episode of The Sports Bar.
This is Fantasy with Rob and Ryan, Fantasy R&R.
Alright, this should be a fun one. Today we're going to do BBQ Baby Back Ribs. Don't worry if you don't have a grill or a smoker. I'm going to show you how to do this another way so you can still get the job done. Let's start off with the dry rub for the baby back ribs. You need some brown sugar, some sea salt, black pepper, smoked paprika. We're going to need some garlic powder, some onion powder, and oregano. We're going to get all this stuff into a bowl. Start off with a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, tablespoon of sea salt, 1/2 tablespoon of black pepper, 1/2 tablespoon of the smoked paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of the garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of the dried oregano, and get all of that mixed up. I got some clumped brown sugar right now, so I kind of have to beat the crap out of it. Here's our rib rack right here. These are baby back ribs, high fat. Gonna have a lot of flavor. See this thing on the back here? This is a long membrane along the back of the rack. This is gonna make the ribs real tough if you don't take this off first. So we're gonna get that removed. The best way to do that is with a spoon. Just get under the membrane here like that. And then I take like a paper towel or something like that. I'll use a spoon to kind of lift it up, and I'll just start ripping at that membrane. It's a little stubborn on me. Usually I can do this in one fell swoop, but alas, I cannot impress today. And once you have all of that membrane off, if you wish, this is going to make it easier for my pan, but I'm going to cut it in half so we have a half rack of ribs. You want to do the whole thing, just make sure you've got some kind of deep pan, wide pan that you can put the entire rib rack in. So slice it right down the middle along the side of the bone there. I've got 2 rib racks. Looking real good. Alright, let's get that rub on there. Obviously you're going to want to be generous with this seasoning. I don't think I used quite all of it. I think there's about maybe half left, but get the back, get the sides, get the top, push it in, make sure all of it sticks. And if you want, you can leave that on your counter for about 30 minutes or so for it to take it all in. Some people put this in their fridge overnight, really let the spices marinate. So I'm going to put it directly into a seasoned cast iron pan and cover it with tin foil. Cover it well so none of the steam inside escapes. My oven's about 225. This is perfect for an 8-hour low and slow cook. When you put it in, make sure that the rack is close to the bottom of your oven there, and then let it in for 8 hours. This is all the stuff we're going to need for the sauce. There's a lot of stuff here. We got brown sugar, onion powder, garlic powder, molasses, white vinegar, honey, tomato paste, liquid smoke, crushed tomatoes, paprika, black pepper, Worcestershire, salt. Got some water and ketchup. We're going to start off with a 1/3 cup of the ketchup, then a 1/2 cup of the crushed tomatoes, 1/3 cup of the water, 1/3 cup of the white vinegar, a tablespoon of tomato paste, and then 2 tablespoons of honey. And my heat is not on at the moment. I'm just going to get it all in there first. Use a spatula if you need to, one of those rubber spatulas to get all this excess off. You're gonna have to do the same thing with the molasses here in a second. 2 tablespoons of molasses. This darkens the sauce and really kind of gives it that sweet plus smoky flavor that you get from barbecue sauces that are in grocery stores. Again, spatula to get it all out. Then next, Worcestershire, 1 teaspoon, then a teaspoon of liquid smoke, 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a tablespoon of brown sugar. Now we're going to get this going on the heat. Just mix it up real good. Turn it on. Don't get it too high. We want it to just kind of start bubbling, like a low boil, rolling boil if you will. And continue to mix it until it gets a nice thick consistency, maybe about 30 minutes. All right, so my barbecue sauce is done here. I'm just gonna transfer it to a jar in case I don't use it all. And that's what we're working with afterwards. Good color. And now that it's been 8 hours, that rib rack looks like this. And we're getting ready to brush it down with the sauce. Get both sides. Make sure you get all the edges. Be pretty generous with it. And then we're gonna have a hot pan here, kind of like medium-high heat. This is my cast iron. And we're gonna sear and caramelize that barbecue sauce to the top of the rib rack. Start top side up first. After it gets a little bit of a blackening or a browning, caramelizes that side, turn it over so it can just cook a little bit on the bottom. It's not really gonna touch the bottom of the ribs, obviously. And then just go over with another layer of fresh sauce that isn't caramelized and cooked down against the ribs. Be pretty generous with that as well. It's gonna make it nice and fresh and sticky. And that's pretty much it. A couple of minutes on each side there, take them off. As you can see, they pretty much just fall right apart. 8 hours at 225. Then you do a caramelization with your cast iron afterwards. Beautiful. Baby back ribs for sports day. And that's it. This was another episode of the Sports Bar. This is your host Ryan with Fantasy R&R. I'll see you next time for more cooking videos and fantasy sports with Rob.